Well, Lauren, we're not inside a car today. We're inside the sales office of the residents at Vauxhall Resort.
Yes.
They have packages for weddings, for
But
all
we
kind
have a
of parties.
special
and all
guest.
that.
We have a special guest. This is a good friend of ours,
Yeah,
Henry Payne.
Henry Payne.
He works for the Detroit News. You should check out his work. Very talented
Fantastic.
and a great driver and an excellent cartoonist as well.
Yeah.
all kinds of hats.
The whole package.
The whole
So this episode is going to be like, when they invite you at a party and you ask, oh, who is coming? Well, some people you know, some people you don't know, some
Right.
people you don't want to know.
Right, that's true.
So in this one is some topics we can talk about, some because we don't want to talk about, and some people
Right,
topics.
but this is an interesting topic. And when I
Yeah.
saw your article that was in the National Review, and you also shared it with us, I said we have to tell people about this because
Yeah.
I think that people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes in our industry, and there's a lot of it. I mean, you talk about the UAW, we discussed that in one of our episodes.
But most people don't know what.
The
you wanna say what is that?
United Auto Workers,
Okay.
and they build cars usually in the northern states and in the southern states.
No, they don't build anything.
Well,
The union doesn't.
the
build
union doesn't,
anything.
but the people that are members
Okay,
do.
that, yeah.
So there are plants in Chattanooga from Volkswagen, or Hyundai is in Alabama, so is Mercedes-Benz, Kia is in
BMW.
Georgia, so BMW is in South Carolina. But after the big union fight we all heard about on all the news networks, we thought this was the end of it. But Sean Payne, who's the president of the United Auto Workers, said, nope, I'm going after the southern states. And that's where Henry comes in.
Yeah.
You're not related, right?
To Sean Payne?
No.
No, it's Payne.
He's an F and I'm a P.
Oh, okay. Just to clarify.
He's Payne like in Payne.
Okay.
P-Riney.
But yeah, he could create some real pain for these companies because, to Lauren's point, having gotten this big contract with the Detroit Three, the United Auto Workers now is aiming at the other 13 plants that are in this country
Yeah,
that,
includes Honda,
that
too,
are
right?
non-union, that produce automobiles, and that's where the growth has been in this industry in the United States in the last 50 years. The union employment has gone down. Non-union employment in the auto industry has gone up, and primarily in these southern states where Mercedes and Hyundai and Toyota and Honda all
Volkswagen.
manufacture. Volkswagen and Tesla, of course, which is also non-union but a domestic firm.
They're
But-
in Austin, yeah.
but what UAW is doing is targeting first the European firms, Volkswagen, Mercedes, because they are already unionized in Europe. They
Yeah.
already have union executive cultures, and so they think that they're vulnerable. And they've tried to unionize Volkswagen in Chattanooga twice.
Right.
Right.
failed.
And they lost. Yeah.
2014, 2019, they both failed. But this time they were successful. And what has changed in the auto industry for folks who have been following it is and I hate politics, and politics
I do too.
politics is
Yeah,
now
they don't add anything to the.
politics
process.
is now central to this industry
Yeah.
now because the U.S. government and the California government are dictating to auto companies what kind of vehicles they have to make. And what is interesting from a political perspective in Washington is Jennifer Granholm, who's leading this charge with the Department of Energy. She's a former governor of my state of Michigan, knows these automakers
She
well.
should know, yeah.
She is a huge admirer of Communist China's industrial policy.
But that hurts us, the country
hurts
she lives
everybody.
in.
And
Yeah.
so what China is doing that she really admires is China is pumping subsidies into its domestic auto industry to make electric vehicles.
That's why they have so many brands. So
Right.
they create them like overnight. It seems like they have the resources and.
That's right. They have a lot of brands. It's all domestic and it's all electric, and they are starting to freeze out foreigners in that market. She wants to recreate that in the United States. She believes that the Chinese industrial policy is the future of this country. She believes electric vehicles are the future of this country, and so she is really pushing hard on this mandate that the automakers in this country make electric vehicles, and if they do, they will in return get subsidies from the U.S. government, just like
But that's our
the
tax
Chinese.
dollars.
But here's where the union comes in. The union is a big special interest of the Democratic Party. So not only does she want these manufacturers to build electric cars, she also wants them to unionize in return for that money. And so the key piece leading up to this Volkswagen vote was a letter from 33 very powerful Senate Democrats who said to Volkswagen, look, you guys should stand aside during this union campaign if you want to keep getting subsidies from the United States to help you develop electric cars. So a very explicit threat.
And they had to do it
But
before because of Dieselgate, right? So they were already in a negative position, even though their penalty was allowing them to create Electrify America for the infrastructure. So it wasn't a penalty. They let them open it up as a business.
But
Yeah.
but the workers voted, not the executives, right?
That's right.
So
And you know, Javier, I mean, if you're a worker
yeah,
in Tennessee, I mean, this is a pretty attractive looking pay package, right? I mean, the UAW won for the Detroit 3 automakers an average salary, annual salary of $108,000 a year.
Wow.
I mean, that is
But there's membership dues in there too.
yeah, but just look at that number. I mean, that is unheard of in manufacturing in this company.
Yeah,
in this
and
country.
that's-
The average manufacturing wage in this country is about $50,000. This is a wage that is comparable to a Silicon Valley software developer. That's about the average wage
Right.
in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
So you can understand the workers looking at this.
They're thinking, I want to make the money. I want to
Right.
buy a new house or go on vacation or whatever.
Right. But at the same time, the company under threat from the U.S. government, from these politicians, they can also tell these workers, look, yes, that's a very attractive wage that the UAW is offering to negotiate for you, but also understand we can't afford that.
exactly.
We're going to lay you off. We're going to bring in robots and replace
Right.
your jobs. That is way too
Which are
expensive
very
wage.
replaceable.
That's
because
right.
the robots are amazing.
But-
But that's what they'll do. They'll automate
Yeah.
and get rid of some of these people. So while they have 400 employees, they could get away with 300 employees and spend the
or
same
less,
amount of labor.
Or less, yeah.
Right. So you
I'm
go-
just using it as a number, yeah.
So you go back to 2019 when the UAW was unsuccessful in organizing VW, and Volkswagen told their workers this. They took out a web page, they communicated to the workers, they said, yeah, you know, here are the consequences of bringing a union into your shop. They didn't do that this time.
Oh, really?
They didn't
stayed
do
out.
that. They stayed out of the campaign. They did not talk to their workers. They took this threat from the U.S.
Very
government
serious,
seriously.
yeah.
That look, I mean, the VW is investing a lot of money in
Billions,
electric vehicles.
billions, yeah.
Yeah, and the market here is not there. So they, I think, you know, read the tea leaves. They're like, you know, we need these subsidies. You
To
know,
stay
we'll-
alive. They're taking
yeah.
a loss on every
We're-
vehicle.
we're not gonna-
every electric vehicle.
That's right. We're not going to irritate the U.S. government here and get involved in this union drive. So a lot of politics in this industry.
And the worst part of all this, I mean, it will be eventually bad for the workers because, as you said, they can be easily replaceable. If you're just like putting a screw or like putting a chair, a seat, the robot can do it. But the worst part is the customers are going to pay the price that the company has to pay for the union to be in place. So, like, really, nobody wins.
Right,
Yeah.
and taxes are getting higher everywhere.
No, exactly. Nobody
so
really
you're going to
wins.
have higher taxes because that's going to have to be in order to cover everything that's going on. But I think you're going to have less people.
Yeah, and
working.
consumers are the ones who will ultimately pay the price.
So let's take that scenario with Volkswagen. They have already been in enough trouble with Dieselgate. So if you use that same approach and you go to Mercedes-Benz and you say, listen, you like our money? But today Mercedes-Benz put out a statement saying, we're starting to warm up to internal
Yeah.
combustion engines here in the U.S. So does that mean they're like, we're not going to play that game? I
So-
wonder how they're going to react.
So the other political piece to this is that if these companies don't play ball on electric vehicles, they're going to get fined. And these are huge.
Is that assuming
fines.
that Biden wins the election, or is that in general, no matter what? Because
Well-
if Trump comes in, he already says that's gone.
I'll give you an example. Even if Trump comes in and wins and comes into Washington D.C., these automakers still have to deal with
the mandates.
California.
Yeah.
California is the tail wagging this dog, and California, the biggest auto market in this country, their regulatory body called CARB
Yeah.
is mandating that every brand, every auto manufacturer sell 35% electric vehicles by 2026.
It's never going to happen.
That's in 2 years. That's basically today.
That's never going to happen.
Right. So for
You're
example,
thinking even the little guys like Ferrari, Lamborghini,
No.
Mitsubishi, they're not going to do it.
Right.
The big ones, And it's funny, even Honda, and you were just at a Honda event, they only have one electric car.
That's
Nissan
right.
has two. Ford's got two. I mean,
Yeah.
how you going to survive? Because these big businesses hire a lot of people, impact to the
And
to the economy
didn't
too.
they modify the mandate that was 2030, and now they put it to 32, I believe, and they lowered the percentage of what hybrid, electric, plug-in hybrid. They still.
Not in California.
Oh, not in California.
So
okay.
again, California is the tail wagging this
So it
dog.
doesn't matter, yeah.
So the U.S. government's a little flexible. CARB is hardcore. I mean,
Yeah.
the Californians are hardcore. It's basically a European nation, which is much further down this road than we are. So if you talk to Honda, Toyota, Stellantis, they're going to pay the fines.
Yeah.
They know there's no way
It's
they're
a
going to
calculated.
Especially
calculated
Stellantis,
risk.
what do they got? 500E?
Yeah,
You know?
they have 500E.
Yeah.
Honda's got the Prologue and the
Yeah.
ZDX. I mean, they
got
don't
nothing.
they don't have the
Even
product to
Toyota,
sell.
they have
So
the
they're gonna-
BZ4X and
Yeah.
the Prius plug-in. That's it.
So they're going to pay the fines, which means actually that they give credits to Tesla or Rivian or any electric vehicle maker who accrues credits because
Yeah.
all they make are electric
They'll
vehicles.
sell the credits
But-
like they
but-
have been doing, which is how Tesla makes its money.
Exactly.
Because all they're really doing in the end is helping companies like Tesla.
That's right.
So Tesla will actually, Elon Musk, who's no dummy, I've talked badly about him in the past, but I keep thinking, man, this guy is so
I know.
smart.
He knows the game.
He's going to make all the money because he gets 7 carbon credits for every car he sells.
Exactly.
And Ford could sell a Mach-E, which is an all-electric car, and they only get 4 carbon credits. So because he made the deal early, he's going to be able to sell to literally everybody. And we're back to where we started from, where all these car companies are going to go, well, we can either sell no cars that are electric, or we can sell hybrids. People are interested.
Mm-hmm.
Plug-in hybrids, sure. Or gasoline. This is very interesting.
So these
Right.
these are the topics that most consumers don't know about
Until the cost of the car gets
exactly.
expensive. And
That
they
was
wanna
that
know
was,
why.
that was my point. So like the workers do this, the executives do that, the government does that, and then the customer at the end. Okay, how much is this car? 35. Now it's gonna be 42.
Yeah. You wonder why the
Yeah.
average price of a vehicle
Exactly.
is $40,000.
Now the
It's 49.
That's right.
And the average cost of an electric car
So
is
you're gonna get
66.
Yeah.
you're gonna get a tax credit of 7,500, but you're gonna pay
Well, but those
8,000
tax
more.
credits don't even work.
No, that's
Unless-
exactly.
There's only a dozen cars that make the qualifier in order to get the $7,500 tax credit. Some manufacturers like Kia, since the EV9's not made here, they're giving that $7,500 tax credit now, knowing that eventually it'll be made in West Point, Georgia. But in the interim, they're offering to consumers, which is smart, good marketing move, figuring basically giving you $7,500 off the sticker price.
Right.
But then you got to raise the price to make up the difference, which is exactly what Ford did with their Lightning truck.
That's right. Well, and if you lease the vehicle, you still get, there's a loophole, and you get the $7,500 if you lease. But again, to take the conversation back to VW, VW, they're not going to sell 35% of their
No
vehicles
way.
No.
in
They
California.
don't sell that many now.
Right.
I mean,
So-
everything they sell is at a loss to begin with. So you're going to have a loss on the car. You're going to have a loss to the federal government.
A school.
and
higher labor fees.
And you have the threat of higher labor fees coming in negotiated
Yeah.
with this new contract. So think of all that cost that VW is looking at. So they're gonna look at two things. They're gonna say, okay, we're gonna bring in more automation. We're going to replace workers because robots are cheaper than employing somebody at $108,000 a year. The other thing they're going to look at is offshoring. They're not going to build any more plants
They'll
in
build in
Chattanooga,
Mexico.
Tennessee.
No, they'll
They're
go
going to go to Mexico.
Or
Yeah,
South America
right.
or wherever, Central
Exactly.
America. You know, it's interesting. I wonder with all this kind of pressure, how will Mercedes-Benz react first? And then beyond
And then
that,
BMW, the
In South Carolina.
largest plant in the world for BMW is the one in South Carolina.
we were just there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So I find this interesting. So if they go after the Germans, and Volkswagen I can see bending over because they kind of messed up with this Dieselgate.
Yeah,
But-
and they have union members on their board in Germany. I mean,
Yeah.
But what
they've
happens-
dealt
What
with the
happens
metal
with
workers
BMW
union.
and Mercedes-Benz? You know what I mean? Audi's already building their cars in Mexico. They're smart. They did not build in the U.S. So what happens with like Toyota and Honda? Honda's building a new plant. They say they're building electric and batteries because they have to, but they make these plants so they're transitional. You know, yeah, if it doesn't work for batteries, we can go back to hybrids, and that's great. And the technology is there. You start to wonder, how does this unfold?
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, and you have different cultures in these companies, but yeah, Honda, Toyota, I mean, they've been very careful in their employee cultures not to unionize because, they don't have the advantage of producing high-end trucks with big margins.
Yeah.
I mean, they really have to have a very efficient operation. So I would expect the Honda, Toyota plants in Ohio and across the South are going to be much tougher to unionize because they really have a culture. But ultimately, all these manufacturers have to deal with these mandates. 35% by 2026. California goes to 70% of your sales in 2030 have to be electric.
That's going to
That's
happen.
never going to happen.
As cool as the ID bus or the original Volkswagen bus was in the 70s, and the
It isn't
electric
cool,
bus
yeah.
is the replacement as the
And
electric
everyone has
version.
driven it
They will
like a-
never sell that amount of cars to compensate for that.
So what is the outcome in California? Does the next governor come in after Newsom's out and change the rules, or what do you think happens?
That's the end game. How hardcore is the government going to be? The history tells us they keep pushing the mandates out.
Sure.
And it has happened before with other things, right?
Carl
We've
says
talked
that.
about
Carl Brower, who's usually here with us, he lives in Orange County. He says every time they make a mandate, it never holds ground, and it gets pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Because
But
right
this is-
now,
but this
it will
isn't-
kill the state.
Yeah.
It will kill the state because a lot of people can't afford it. Everyone, as I always, my standard line is, if I'm driving a 94 Camry, the last thing I'm going to do is sell it to buy a brand new car that I can't afford the insurance, I can't afford the payments, and I have no place to charge because I live in an apartment. That you can't give people everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And otherwise, they have nothing.
Yeah, but it is a different time. You've never had the government this far into the auto business, whether it's California's government or whether it's the EPA and the DOE. You've never seen this much government involvement.
What can people do?
Keep buying what they want.
Yeah.
That's right. I agree with you. That's excellent. Well, Henry, I
Yeah.
appreciate your time. You are super intelligent. We love.
Multi-talented. as
Yes,
you say.
multi-talented.
You are.
That's great to be.
Any racist cars with me.
No,
too.
that's what I'm
Very
saying.
talented.
Well, I'm big admirers of both of you guys, so it's an honor to be on your podcast.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'll also be covering this on my Car Coach Reports channel. And Henry, where else can we find you?
Oh, you can find me at Detroit News. You can find me at henrypayne.com and newspapers all over the United States.
Or at a racetrack.
Or a racetrack. Yeah. Or
That's
somewhere
right.
in the cartoon
I'll be
section.
racing at Summit Point next month.
Awesome.
Meet me there.
It's Henry Payne, Payne. He's awesome. We've known each other for a long time. Great guy. Thank you so much for listening to us. Make sure to subscribe, download, share this with your friends because they want to know when cars get
Very important.
expensive. This is why. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Henry.
See you guys.
Thanks. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. If you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to get involved in the conversation. You can support me by buying me a cup of coffee or just stay a little bit longer and find another way to save some money on your cell phone plan. Links for our website, social media, and the book and the podcast are all down in the description. I'm Lauren Fix. Thank you so much for watching. Have you ever thought, why in the world is my wireless bill so darn high? What are we paying all this money for? Speed, coverage, data, access to 5G, unlimited talk and text, mobile hotspots? We are partnering with Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers all of these features for as low as $15 per month. They're reimagining the wireless shopping experience and made it easy and online. No stores, no salespeople, just huge direct-to-you savings. Why should you pay more when you have access to premium wireless? Mint Mobile runs on the nation's largest 5G network. Whether you use your phone to watch YouTube, listen to podcasts, or play games, you get the same speed and performance as the big guys while connecting to Mint's network. How hard is it to switch your service? Big Wireless wants you to think it's hard, but switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones now have, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. And if your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. Just go to trymintmobile.com/LaurenFix, also linked in the description down below, to get premium wireless for $15 a month.